Hello, my name is Layden Barlow. My multinational company is John Wiley and Sons Publishing. For the company overview and operations, John Wiley and Sons is a publishing company known for its textbooks used at colleges around the world and especially in the US. They have their corporate headquarters in New Jersey. They also have locations in California, Minnesota, Washington, North Carolina, Brazil, United Kingdom, France, Romania, Greece, Poland, Hungary, Dubai, Jordan, Singapore, China, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, India, Australia, and South Africa. John Wiley and Sons Publishing Company has offices in multiple different countries and states. They have distribution centers in England and India. About 47% of John Wiley and Sons Publishing Company's revenue from last year is from the United States, with the rest being from other countries such as Australia, China, and Japan. Those were the three with where most of the revenue was coming from. The rest is split up between all these different locations. Here is one of their logos. They have been around since 1807. For operational risk, John Wiley and Sons makes their income from publishing textbooks and online aids for college students. They have moved into some digital textbooks that we use. They also still have paper copies of a few of, or most of them, I think almost all of them. And some of the online aids are like homework and um, videos that comes with the homework that you can watch to help you figure out the problems. One risk they have is keeping their books or properties protected. They believe keeping their property, including their trademarks and copyright content, protected is a huge key to their success. They wouldn't want their books getting leaked for free on websites or anything. Otherwise, no one would buy their books anymore. They would just get the free copy. Developments in AI could increase competition in the market for John Wiley and Sons and slow down their sales. Misuse of AI by employees or other third parties causing the loss of control of how that information is used can also cause a problem for John Wiley and Sons. Like if the employees are using AI to write some of the book or putting what they have coming out next in the company, it could leak something that they didn't want out yet and could cause some of their sales to or lose out on some of their sales. Actually, let me go back. The picture was one of their books. I think it was a math book. uh, Reductions in federal funding for libraries, colleges, or university enrollment and changes to the United States education policy could cause demand for higher education products to go down. Decreases in demand of these products could create less sales for John Wiley and Sons. Demand for digital and lower cost books could lower sales in an adverse way. Digital and lower cost books could cause them to change the way they produce, distribute, and market their products. If you look over here, uh, it's from 2009 to I think it was 2020, but it got cut off for some reason. It wouldn't let me change it to add it back in. This is the number of newly enrolled undergraduate students in the U.S. by each year. As you can see, it kind of is slowly decreasing over the last 10 to 20 years. Yeah, and for the digital and lower cost books, I prefer digital books, so that probably also isn't helping them out. I'm sure a lot of college students prefer digital. I know me and my friends definitely do. Like none of us ordered the paper copies available. Financial risk, volatility in the financial markets, and a related global economic downturn could impact the ability to access global credit markets and future financing needs for them. This will force John Wiley and Sons to monitor their liquidity since the markets are so volatile and they need a certain amount of funds to produce their products. They kind of have to, it makes them have to hold it just in case they can't finance the money they need because of the downturn. Fluctuations in foreign currency exchange rates and interest rates could materially impact consolidated conditions and results of operations. With 53% of revenue coming from foreign countries, the exchange rate, interest rates, and inflations in different areas are very hard to predict. Which, with them being very hard to predict and so much revenue coming from those countries, it could be a huge risk for them, as they would have to kind of try and predict it and hope nothing goes wrong. John Wiley & Sons might not be able to mitigate the impact of inflation and cost increases, which could have an adverse impact on their financial position and results of their operations. The constant rises to inflation and cost increases make it very difficult for them to keep their prices down, which could cause universities to look into different options, leading to loss of revenue for John Wiley & Sons, just because the cost of college is already increasing so much, and the federal government is starting to help out less and less every year. Those universities would most likely look into different options, trying to keep the cost for the students low. And if that's not, I know for sure that paper copies of books already cost more, so that's why most teachers now recommend the digital copies, just to help keep the cost low for the students. So if there's better options at a lower price and they have to keep raising their prices, they would probably lose a lot of business to colleges. Changes in pension costs and related funding requirements for them may impact their financial position and results of operations. They have various factors in their pension plans and defined pension plans for certain employees, which they can involve how much they need to hold for these plans, just so they make sure they can pay out their pensions when those employees are ready to retire. If you look over here, you can see the inflation over the last 100 years, with almost all of it being positive inflation, but just how it goes up and down so drastically, like from here down to nothing and just a little bit and then back up. Excuse me. And you just never really know when it's going to take off and when it's kind of just going to sit there. Their current strategy. Their strategy hasn't really changed based on what part of the world they are focusing on. Around the world, they're trying to fight the switch from hardcover textbooks to digital textbooks, as that's what everybody wants, since it's cheaper and works just as well, since most people are taking notes on laptops now instead of notebooks. They're also trying to fight the growth of AI and the other risks talked about earlier. With that being said, their strategies are to integrate AI into their products, make a digital transformation from hardcover textbooks to digital textbooks, and target high growth rate markets. The latest development from them is moving headquarters from New York to New Jersey in 2002. It's their greatest land development, or where they acquired. However, they did acquire Hindawi Limited, which was another publishing company located in Cairo, Egypt in 2021. This picture just shows some stages of development in AI, as now it started as just a little helper, but now people can have full-on conversations with AI, and it can be one of their friends. How are course concepts apply to this company? Some course concepts that apply for John Wiley that they should take into account when looking into development are foreign exchange rate, forward exchange rates, and cross rates. They have to be very careful of their exposure to exchange rates with all the subsidiaries they have in different countries. For example, if they're trying to get US dollars, or if they're converting all their country's money into US dollars, if you had €2, sometimes that could be, or let's just say it's worth $1, they could miscalculate and think they have more money than they should have, or they will have when they convert it to US dollars. You have to be careful of borrowing with forward exchange rates, like a set exchange rate, just in case it, like, or that would be taking out the risk of it increasing a lot. But if they set at a certain amount and it's lower, then they're losing money. So they kind of have to be careful on what they're doing with that. As it says here, it can lose companies money if done the wrong way. They also have to make sure they are careful with cross rates to make sure they are not losing money doing that as well. Here's my sources. Thank you.